Everyman is a morality play which gives us a minute description of the relationship between God, the Creator, and the man. The human being who, after coming into the mundane existence, into this world, forgot the relationship with the Creator, with the God. And this picture has been given to us very clearly with the help of the characters, with the help of the characterization of some of the ideas, some of the abstract ideas, in such a way that we clearly observe our own predicament, our own destiny after the life of death. Here, the name Everyman is the representative of all the human being, of the entire human being. It is not the name of an individual, rather, it is the identity of the entire human being. And here we see many other characters also, and their names are quite peculiar too. In fact, their names are in abstract form, and they represent some of the abstract ideas. So to begin the summary of the drama, one thing that needs to be mentioned here, that the authorship or the name of the playwright is still not this. So we cannot say with certitude that who is the actual writer of the drama, but most of the critics assert the view that this drama flourished in the medieval era, and this book is quite popular among the people, especially for its principle, for its tenets of Christianity. At the very beginning of the drama, in the prologue part, a messenger appears and asks the audiences for their attention. The messenger wants to speak something that is the entire motto, entire theme of the poem. Here he asks the attention of the people by saying that this drama is going to represent the life of human being after death and the relationship with the God. God, the creator, appears on the stage, and he searches death because God is quite angry on the human being. God feels that the entire human being has become astray, and they are now much more engrossed with the material life in a total avoidance of the spirituality. So God has decided to have a reckoning of every man's book, and so therefore he decided to call the human being to him so that they can give their detail of the life span, whether they have spent their entire life by doing good things or bad things. And in this way, God is likely to give award to them. So therefore he searches death, and then after few time death appears there and converses with God. Death realizes what God actually means to him, and so therefore death comes into the world and searches every man to call him to God, that is to take the soul of every man to God, and in this way the every man will die. Whenever death is searching, Everyman appears in a very glittering dress. So here glittering is the representative of the sparkle of the mundane existence of the material life, which gives people somehow a certain kind of comfort but can never give it eternal bliss. So the word again, glittering, means the outward dazzle and the pomposity of the entire human being. So here every man in glittering dress appears, and it seems to all of the audiences that he is involved in certain kind of bad activities, in certain kind of lascivious activities or immoral activities which do not match with the tenet or the principle of Christianity. Death comes close to every man and ask him that he is now going to take every man to God. Want some time to do correction of the details of his daily activities which are inscribed in the accounts of reckoning in the book of reckoning. But death then asks every man that there is no time left for him to do so. So in this situation, every man needs to go with death. At this, every man begins to humble and he implores death to give at least some moment so that he can have a company to appear God. Then there appears a fellowship, and he makes a brief account of his own nature to every man, and he promises that he will never leave every man in any way. He will be always in the life with every man, whatever may the situation be. At this, every man becomes quite comfortable and feels a certain kind of exhilaration. But whenever every man clarifies to fellowship that he is going to die and he is going to appear before God with the book of reckoning, at this fellowship diverts, fellowship renegates his promises, and he is not at all willing to go with every man to God, because fellowship could understand that if he accompanies with every man, then it means that he must die with every man. So he is not at all willing to go. In spite of request by the everyman, fellowship is not at all willing to go. Rather, he suggests that everyman can meet kindred and cousin. So these are the two characters who also appear there. Everyman requests kindred and cousin to accompany him, but similarly they desert him and neglect the proposal of everyman. At this, everyman becomes quite devastated, and he turns around to find out a companion to him, and in the meantime there appears goods and a richness with whom everyman meets. Everyman then requests goods and richness to accompany him to appear before God. But goods and richness says that your love for goods is quite opposite to love of God. So you loved the goods in the material world, but you never loved the God. And goods too forsakes every man and exit from the stage. Then Everyman's dilemma becomes quite critical, as he is not finding any company to appear before God. He is fumbling, he is trembling, and then he went on searching and finds a company whose name is Good Deeds. Everyman meets another character who appears before him, and his name is Good Deeds. That means that good activities, and she hears everything from every man, but good deeds hesitate to go along with every man before God, because he is quite weak and has no power to say something prominently. Good deeds then says every man that he is weak and he cannot accompany him unless he gets the help of knowledge. Knowledge is actually the sister of good deeds. So every man goes to knowledge, and as per the insistence of knowledge, every man then goes to confession, and the confession then appears on the stage, and he hears everything and understands everything, and then the confession instruct him to show penance and to repent him for the crime, for the immoral activities that every man has done in this world, in this mundane existence. At this, every man scourges himself to atone for his sin. This allows good deeds to work, and then good deeds become much more stronger, because good deeds is now pure and has no impurities in itself. Whenever penance has been done, every man's sin, every man's immoral activities were totally washed out. Whenever every man's death is imminent, there appears some of his friends, namely discretion, strength, beauty, and 5 weeks. And initially they claim that they will accompany every man on his journey. But whenever they heard everything from every man, they were not at all willing to accompany him. As every man begins to die, beauty, strength, discretion, and 5 weeks all forsake him one after another. Good deeds speak up and says that she will not forsake him. Every man realizes at this that it is time for him to be gone to make his reckoning and pay his spiritual debts. Yet he says there is a lesson to be learned and speaks the lesson of the play. Finally, Everyman enters into the grave along with good deeds. Every companion, every friend, every mundane pomposity were vanished. They were not at all giving company to every man. So here we see that every man enters into the grave, and he is now totally alone. No one is there to help him except good deeds. Finally, we see that an angel appears with every man's book of reckoning to receive the soul, and to give the soul a peaceful place, that is to heaven. In the epilogue part of the drama, we see that a doctor appears there. Doctor, in the sense that he is actually treating the uh, diseases or maladies of the soul, not the physique or not the illness. And he says that pride, beauty, 5 weeks, strength, discretion, all are valueless before God, because if you do not work any good deeds, then no one is going to help you, no one is going to salvage you from the consternation of the hell. So this is the final part that doctors say to the entire human being, and ask the entire human being to go through the life of spirituality,